Hi Razzlers, welcome to my channel, and if you haven't been here before, my name is Kate and I'm known as Raz Does Them on YouTube. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, do so now by clicking the subscribe box to join the Raz Does family, and click the little bell so you'll be notified of all my big jazz hand videos I do. And as well, feel free to share this video with anyone you know. So in this video I'm going to be talking about gaming, and I'm going to be answering some gaming questions. And do get involved and answer these questions in a video as well, and put the link in my comment box so I can go and check it out. So the first question is, what was the first ever game that I got into? So I was thinking about this quite a lot, and I think it was back in the day. Probably most of you guys don't remember, because I am a little bit probably older than most of you out there. Is the game what was on Apple. And I was saying Apple when it was a proper Apple of the retro style Apple with the colours on it. And it was of a frog, and you had to jump across like a road. Frogget or something? No, I don't think it was called Frogget. But something like that. You had to jump across this road and you had to try and miss all the cars and then jump on the lily pads. I think that might have been one of the first ever ones. So as time went on, I went on to, of course, Mega Drive games, the SNES games, and the Game Boy. I did always want to try out the new and latest things out there. So I remember the Mega Drive had even one of them like gun things when you could shoot Toe Jam and Earl, I think it was, and you could like aim tomatoes at people and stuff. It was really random, but it was really cool at the time. And I always liked to see what the new trend was. I mean, looking back, VR has only just come out, well not now, but a couple of years ago. And back then they were developing a VR game headset. But I remember it never really happened, or I thought I made it up. But now I've found out that they did develop it, but it was making people really sick. So basically, they just cut it and didn't put it out there. So number 2 question is, what is the best thing you've ever done? I take it this is in the same category as, of course, gaming still. So I'm going to say I used to, and probably still would do, is people when they're struggling with a game, I always used to help them out, because I somehow was able to work out it quicker than they did, and so I would help them get through the level and then give it back to them. So, or when, I always remember when I was younger, when I completed a game, I thought it was such a major like challenge, and once I did it I was like wow. But then sometimes the hype didn't always thing up to you completing it, because then you just wanted to do it again and try it differently. So number 3 question is, what do you do other than do gaming stuff? Well, you guys already know, or if you don't, I do a lot of art, creating things. Like I say, I'm very creative, so always making stuff or designing things. And I'm very arty in itself. Like even back in the day, I used to always play games like Theme Park where you had to design stuff, or music where you had to make your own music, or trying to think of other ones, Micro Machines when you had to make your own little tracks and be able to actually use, I thought it was magical at the time, be able to drive around the actual track that you made. But yeah, I'm very arty and I do a lot of art stuff, and I'm always making stuff or doing YouTube videos. So number 4 is, what game would you love to see out there what isn't already a game? This is a tricky one, because obviously going back in the day, all the film stuff, what was a film, they always made it into a game. Well, they don't do as much now, I think, because there's always films coming out, so it's quite hard to keep up with the film industry with the gaming industry. I mean, if it's a huge film, they do bring it out as a game, because they say it's money making, don't they? But I'm trying to think of what I'd want to play. I mean, now I love my headset and I can basically be in a game. I mean, that's just amazing in my head, because when I was younger, that was the ideal thing. What I wanted is to be actually feel like you're in the game and immersed in the game. But I don't know what I'd want if I could think of. There's so many different games out there already, isn't there? I mean, I do love all mystical and arty and lots of things like that, so maybe something along the lines of that. But there's games out there what is already got that in it. I'm trying to think. Maybe it'd be quite cool if they redid The Lion King and made you be able to be in it somehow. I don't know. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. I don't know what you guys think. Do put in the comment box what kind of thing you think would be really cool for them to bring out that isn't already out there, because I can't think of something off the top of my head. I mean, they've even got new devices that you can stand up and things and walk through with your headset on and everything, because they're completely in it. Like the Nightmare series program it used to be on, where that was the thing, they would put on this headset and go through the actual like game. So number 5's question is, what's your favourite thing? And then you're meant to insert the name of the game. So for this one, I'm going to use, try and think of a game. Let's use Sonic the Hedgehog, because it's a classic game and everyone knows it. I'd say my favourite thing is about Sonic the Hedgehog how it's developed over time, because obviously it started being a 2D flat surface, and he would go through all the levels and you would run and zoom around, and then they introduced Tails into it, and then Knuckles, didn't they? So then you could play 2-player, and then they brought in the verses, so you could verse against each other. And now they've made it into more of a, I think, well, actually in Mega Drive they made it into a 3D, so it was more like 3D effect. And now they've brought it out again on the PlayStation. Actually no, they brought it on the Wii first, didn't they, to do the Olympics, and then they brought it out on the PlayStation, and it's even more developed. How they've just gone with the times with it. I think that is a really cool example of how gaming carries on from something back in the days to now. I mean, there is games now, the quality is amazing, but they're games that are brought out now. They're not a game that people see as a classic brought back, if that makes sense. If you like this kind of video, do give me a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button to join the Razzmatazz family, and click the little bell to be notified of all my Big Jazz Hand videos I do. And like I always say, keep gaming. See you guys later.